Hello students, so in this particular video we'll be discussing all the important topics of electric charge and electric field, the theories and the sums which are more frequently asked in your board examination, right? See, this question is asked many a times. Torque acting on a dipole placed in a uniform electric field. A dipole is placed in a uniform electric field and you have to calculate the torque acting on the dipole. See, dipole means a system of two equal and opposite charges, right, separated by some finite distance of 2a. You can take the distance as d also, no problem. Let this distance be 2a. Is placed in an uniform electric field. Okay, let us say electric field. Uniform electric field means field line should be parallel and equidistant. Okay, so this is the electric field. Now electric field is from plus to minus. Clear? Okay, so now positive charge will experience a force QE. Positive charge will experience a force QE in the direction of electric field. So it will experience a force QE in this direction. Negative charge will experience a force minus QE in the direction opposite to electric field. So force of minus QE. Okay, right? Fine. Now let P be the dipole moment which is directed from negative to positive. This is the dipole moment. This is E. So the angle between P and EB theta. Angle between P and EB theta. So this is your dipole. This is the center of the dipole. Electric field is in this direction, right? So because of this electric field, a positive charge will experience a force in this direction and negative charge will experience a force in this direction. So if both the forces are acting from two different points, right? One is QE and minus QE. So this will rotate. This will rotate, right? If you are applying a force from this end and in this direction from this end, so this will rotate. Clear? So that will be the torque. That will be the torque which will be acting on the dipole. That is what we have been calculating. Clear? Okay. So this dipole will experience a torque. Torque will be in the direction. Torque is defined as R cross F. In the chapter of rotational motion, you must have studied that torque is simply cross product of R and F. So this is R, this is F. So from right hand rule, R cross F, R cross F. This will be the direction of torque. Clear? This is R, this is F, R cross F. Clear? Okay. Now, torque magnitude wise can be defined as force into perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance from given reference point, from given reference point. Clear? See, now in this case, what is perpendicular distance and how we'll calculate the torque? Of course, the dipole is placed in this manner, QE force x in this direction, minus QX in this direction, right? So if both the forces of same magnitude but are acting from different points, so because of this, the dipole will rotate. Because of this, the dipole will rotate. That means it will experience some torque. Okay. So force is QE. E is the electric field. Q is the charge. So force on positive charge is QE and it will be in this direction. Force on negative charge will be minus QE and it will be in direction opposite to electric field. Right. So this is the case. This is force QE. This is force minus QE, right? The total distance is 2a. This is 2a. Okay. Now, dipole moment is in this direction. Say this distance is 2a. Electric field is in this direction. So the angle between P and E, let the angle between P and E be theta. This is 2A, right? Dipole moment is from negative to positive. This is your electric field. So the angle between P and E, this is theta, right? Okay. So this will be A, this will also be A. This is A, this is center of the dipole, right? Okay. So this will be A. A is in this direction. Dipole moment is in this direction. Electric field is in this direction, right? So this, it means this is A. This is the force, right? This angle is theta. So this will be A cos theta and this will be A sin theta, right? A, this is theta, this will be A cos theta, this will be A sin theta. So A sin theta is the perpendicular distance, clear, because Q is in this direction. So A sin theta will be the perpendicular distance. So what is torque? Force into perpendicular distance. So torque can be written as QE into A sin theta. In the same way, here also torque will be QE into perpendicular distance. Clear? So total torque acting on a dipole can be calculated as force, which is QE, and perpendicular distance. Now this is A sin theta, right? This is A sin theta. So in the same manner, this will also be A sin theta, right? So perpendicular distance for both these forces, QE and minus QE, the perpendicular distance will be A sin theta and A sin theta. Clear? So total perpendicular distance will be 2A sin theta, right? So torque is QE into 2A sin theta. 2A sin theta is the perpendicular distance for both the charges. Fine. So torque is finally, what is Q into 2A? Q into 2A is P. So it is PE sin theta magnitude wise, or it can be written as P cross E. This is the torque acting on a dipole placed in a uniform electric field, right? Of course, torque acting on a dipole may or may not be zero because it depends on the angle sin theta. Right? If I am placing this dipole, right, parallel to electric field, if I am placing this dipole parallel to electric field, then theta will be 0, and if theta will be 0, sin 0 is 0. So in that particular case, or in that particular situation, there will be no torque acting on a dipole. Clear? So to add this point in your answer, that torque acting on a dipole may or may not be 0, it depends on the angle, but the force acting on a dipole will always be 0. Force acting on a dipole will be 0 when it is placed in a uniform electric field, because force on positive charge is QE. Force on positive charge will be QE. This will be in the direction of electric field, and force on negative charge will be minus QE, and that will be in the direction opposite to electric field. So net force acting on the dipole will be 0. So force acting on the dipole will be 0 when placed in a uniform electric field. But torque acting on the dipole placed in a uniform electric field may or may not be 0. So this will be your answer for the torque acting on a dipole placed in a uniform electric field. We'll discuss another question now. Another important answer, discuss the characteristics of electric field lines. Generally we have to discuss 4 points. We have to write 4 characteristics of electric field line. First one is, electric field lines emerges from positive charge and ends at negative charge, right? Field lines will emerge out from positive charge and will end at negative charge. Clear? But if there is only positive charge, then it may extend to infinite. So this will be your first point, that field lines will emerge out from positive charge and will end at negative charge. If there is only single positive charge, field lines can move up to infinite. That is your first point. Clear? Okay, that means field lines are not continuous. They are starting from plus, but they are ending at minus. Now in the second point, we can write it as in a charge-free region. That means if there are no charges, then field lines can be considered continuous. Field lines can move continuous without any break. Because if, clear? That means if positive charge and negative charges are present, then field lines will start from one point and will end at another point. That means they will not be continuous. But if there is no charge in a charge-free region means there are no charges. Field lines will move continuously without any break. Clear? Fine. Third point, two field lines will never intersect each other. Two field lines will never intersect each other. If they are intersecting, then at the point of intersection, there can be two tangents drawn. You can draw two tangents from one common point of intersection, and tangents represents the direction of electric field. Tangent represents a direction. So from a single point, there cannot be two directions of electric field. This is not possible. This is not possible to have two direction of electric field from a common point, from a given point. Clear? So two electric field lines can never intersect each other. This will be your third point. And the last one, field lines do not form closed loop. Electric field lines because of stationary charge. This has to be mentioned in your answer, right? That field lines of static charge distribution will never form closed loop. Like in this case, field lines will emerge out from plus but will end at minus. It is not forming a closed loop. That means this is how it is never forming. But field lines due to stationary charge distribution cannot form closed loop, right? Otherwise, if electric field lines are generated by changing magnetic field, then those electric field lines forms closed loop. So you have to mention that electric field line because of static charge distribution will not form closed loop. These are the characteristics of electric field lines. You have to discuss four characteristics. You have to write four characteristics, right? Now we'll discuss another important answer, which is application of Gauss law, right? So another very important question which is very frequently asked. Calculate the electric field due to uniformly charged infinitely long wire. You have to find the electric field for an uniformly charged infinitely long wire. This is the application of Gauss law. Gauss theorem, integration E dot dA equals to sigma cube epsilon naught, right? Suppose this is a wire, infinitely long wire, having a charge q, and let lambda be the surface charge density, right? Okay. Because of this charges, suppose we have to calculate electric field at any distance r, here at this point. Clear? Because of the charges which are there on the wire of infinitely long. So this charge will produce an electric field in this direction away from the point. We already know that the direction of electric field is away for a positive charge. If we are considering this charge, the electric field of this charge will be in this direction on the same, with the same distance. If I am considering a charge here, so it will produce an electric field at point P in this direction. If this distance and this distance are equal, so this electric field will have two components. One is this, one will be this way. This electric field will also have two components, this way, this way. These distances are equal, these components will get cancelled, the effect of the components will get cancelled. So finally the resultant electric field is in this direction, that is, it is radially outward. It is radially outward. Now how to calculate electric field at this point, right? For that we'll use Gauss theorem. Suppose, and yes, this was lambda greater than 0. That means positive charge is being distributed on the wire. If negative charge, if we distribute negative charge on the wire, that means if lambda is less than 0, that means negative, then electric field will be radially inward, because for a negative charge electric field will be towards itself, and for positive charge it will be away from the point. Clear? Now, so wire, positive charge is distributed on the wire. Fine, we have been said to calculate the electric field at a distance r, right? So whenever you are dealing with Gauss theorem, first you will have to make a Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface for a point charge will be spherical. For infinitely long straight charged wire, the Gaussian surface will be cylindrical. Clear? So first we will make a Gaussian surface, a cylindrical Gaussian surface. Of radius r and length L. This is the Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface means the imaginary surface where value of electric field will remain same. Value of electric field, magnitude will remain same. This is a Gaussian surface of radius r and length L. Okay, clear? Fine. The electric field at this point will be radially outward. Electric field will be radially outward. Clear? Fine. So, as per Gauss theorem, it is close integration E dot dA, but since we are dealing with a wire, so line integration E dot dA is equals to sigma q by epsilon naught. Sigma q by epsilon naught. Okay, sigma q by epsilon naught. Integration E dA cos theta equals to q. Q can be written as lambda L by epsilon naught, as lambda is linear charge density, which is q by L. So q will be lambda into L. Fine. See here, if this is the part I am considering, the area vector is also in the same direction. Area vector is in the same direction as z of E. If this is the surface, then the area vector will be in this direction. And electric field is also in the same direction. So the angle between E and dA is 0. So cos 0 is 1. Okay. E is constant, as Gaussian surface itself means where value of electric field is constant. Integration dA equals to lambda L by epsilon naught. E into dA. dA integration of dA is A. Area will be, area of cylinder will be circumference into length equals to lambda L by epsilon naught. L gets cancelled. So electric field will be lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. This is the electric field for an uniformly charged infinitely long straight charged wire. Clear? Lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. Moreover, since electric field is a vector quantity, can be rewritten as electric field lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r into unit vector. Unit vector is to show the direction of this electric field. And one thing is to be noted that in this case electric field is inversely proportional to r and not as r square or r cube in case of point charge or a dipole. In case of point charge it was inversely proportional to r square. In case of dipole, inversely proportional to r cube at far away distance. But here it is inversely proportional to r. Right? So graph will be hyperbola. Clear? Right? So these were all the important theories which we had discussed of chapter number 1. These questions are very frequently asked in your board examinations. Clear? Thank you. And one more answer, that is Coulomb's law in vector form. That question is also very frequently asked in the board exam, right, which I have already explained in my previous video. The link I already shared in the description. You can go and you can watch that particular video also. It's an important question, Coulomb's law in vector form.